Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making chicken fritters. I've never made them before, but they look delicious. And chicken and cheese and crusty, I don't think it can be wrong. But again, I have to compromise a little bit because I don't have exactly everything that it calls for. I will read the recipe exactly as it is. And I will factor the points for the plans at the end for the way the recipe is written, and then I will give the points for the recipe as I make it. I measured out 5.5 ounces of chicken. The recipe calls for 1.5 pounds. But I'm also only feeding myself. So if you're feeding a family, you'll probably definitely want to make the recipe as is. Calls for 1.5 pounds of diced chicken, 1/3 cup of flour, 1 cup of shredded cheese, 2 eggs, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, 3 jalapeno peppers seeded, chopped small, 1 green onion, 2 tablespoons of parsley, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, salt, optional, pepper, and extra virgin olive oil for frying, which it calls for 1 tablespoon. You just mix everything together in a pan. I think it seems like it's going to be really super easy to do. Now I'm going to get to it the way I'm going to make it versus the things that I have. So it won't be exactly like the recipe, but again, I'll link it below. You can make it however you want. You can add whatever seasonings you want. Use as much stuff as you want. Let's get to it. Okay, I have 5.5 ounces of chicken breast. You could probably use thighs if you wanted to. I know people say they're more flavorful. I like chicken breast. I do think the recipe said you could use chicken or turkey, whatever you want. I did kind of dry it off just a tiny little bit with a paper towel and then washed up my hands and stuff really good, just to kind of let everything stick to it a little bit better. I don't know how much flour I'm going to use because obviously my portion is not nearly as big as the recipe. Just going to sprinkle in like a tablespoon, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of flour. See where that leaves me. Calls for pepper. I don't think I'm going to add any salt to it. I can salt them at the end if I want. I like spicy stuff, so I'm going to add a decent amount of pepper. I'm going to add parsley. Does call for parsley. Use as much as you want. I like parsley. Garlic powder. And I'm going to add this garlic sriracha seasoning that I have that I tend to forget about, and I don't really ever use it. So I think that's going to be really good. It calls for Parmesan cheese. Don't have any. Calls for green onion. Don't have any green onion, so I'm just going to use regular diced up onion. I love onion and pepper. I add them to like everything. Unfortunately, I don't have any pepper. I haven't had any pepper for a few weeks. But it does call for jalapeno peppers or jalapenos, whatever you want to call it. I have 1.5 ounces of cheese here. I did weigh it out. I think I'm probably going to use about a whole ounce. I don't know. I'll weigh what's left. And honestly, I believe that is, no, it calls for 2 eggs as well. I'm going to just use 1 egg. But it does call for 2 eggs. Again, I have a much smaller batch here, so I'm just going to use 1. I do wish I had gloves. I don't like to touch raw meat. I mean, I can do it, obviously, but I'm not a huge fan of it. My mom usually gets us, I am an adult, just so we're clear. My mommy usually gets me chicken from the Schwann's man because my mommy loves me. And I'm really used to eating the Schwann's chicken, and it's pre-packaged, the kind that she buys. It's individually packaged. I think that the pieces are pretty small. They're about, on average, about 3 ounces per packed piece of chicken. But for myself, that's perfectly fine. And I find that there usually is like no fat on them at all. So you never have to trim anything off. You don't have to really touch it. You just slide it out of the package onto the pan and cook it. I'm kind of spoiled with my chicken. it's very rare that I will buy chicken from the store, but I mean I have, but I'm just usually getting the Schwan's chicken. It is a bit more pricey, but the fact that I find like when you buy this stuff at the store, you pay a decent amount of money for it, but you pick off so much fat, and it just seems like such a waste of money. I don't know. Do whatever works for you. Obviously, Schwan's chicken is not affordable for everyone, and personally, if I were paying for it and getting it myself, I probably wouldn't get it that often either. But my mommy gets it for me, so thank you, Mommy. I'm gonna add a tiny little bit more flour. So we use maybe about 2 teaspoons of flour. I'm trying to keep track of the ingredients that I used so that I can factor out my points properly for my portion. I don't know how well these are gonna hold together. I've never made them before, but honestly, even if I popped them in a pan and just ate it as is and it wasn't in a fritter patty, I just don't see how you could go wrong. It just looks good. It smells good. I have a piece of chicken here that I had made in the oven just so that I can put that on salad another day. My Clorox wipes to clean up my hands if I touch my chicken. It does say to use extra virgin olive oil. I do not have any. Go figure. I need to go to the grocery store pretty badly, but I'm not going to the grocery store anytime too soon because I have a bunch of stuff in the house that I need to use up, so I'll just work with what I have. But certainly you could probably use coconut oil if you wanted. I have a little bit of that. But I'm just going to use vegetable oil here. It calls for a tablespoon, so I'm just going to measure out a tablespoon of it. I was gonna eat these for dinner, but since it's like 2:30 and it's more lunchtime, I may eat them for lunch. I don't know. I don't know how big these are gonna come out, so I may not eat all of them anyway. But I'm also going to be making mashed potato pancakes. So maybe I'll just have this as my heavier lunch and have like soup and a salad tonight for dinner. I don't know. That's probably how it's gonna go because I think it'll be better if these are nice and warm when I eat them versus cold. I'm gonna put this on like a 4 or 5, not quite medium, because I want them to cook up fully, obviously, because it is chicken, but I also want it to get crispy without getting burnt. I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but I'm gonna let all this heat up and I will be back. Okay, I am back. Again, I'm not sure how these are gonna hold up. They don't feel like, I mean, maybe once they start to crisp up or something, they will hold their shape. I don't know. It's not quite hot enough yet. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit more before I add the others. Make sure that you are counting for whatever oil you use. I mean, it's a tablespoon, so it probably won't make a huge difference, but you still have to count it, I guess. So I don't want to crowd my pan. I think I'm going to get 3 patties out of this. But I said I'm not going to crowd my pan, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm too lazy to make this in multiple batches. I still want to get my potato pancakes filmed. If you've never made potato pancakes before, I don't quite make them exactly the way most recipes call, because I do think a lot of the recipes coat them in breadcrumbs or whatever. I don't typically do that. I know all recipes don't do it that way. And I like to cook, but you know, sometimes I have to modify things just because I don't want to use as many points for my food. I'm going to cover these up a little bit and see what happens. Stick around. I am so super excited for these. Look at these. They are holding their shape great, which I wasn't pot. Nice little crisp. You are going to want to make sure that the chicken is done if you have a meat thermometer, 165 degrees or above Fahrenheit. worth it. You could probably maybe make these in the air fryer. These look so good. When you flip them, the little cheese strings, oh, it'll be good with Parmesan as well, but like I said, don't have any. You do want to make sure that the chicken is completely done. If you don't have a meat thermometer, I'm telling you, it is so totally worth it. You can get cheaper ones. I think this one might have been about $10 or $15 at Walmart, and I've had it for many years. But honestly, if you want like juicy chicken from the oven, this is definitely something you should invest in, because otherwise, a lot of people, especially my sister, she tends to just cut it and while it's in the oven to see if it's still pink, and then she'll pull it out and she'll be like, oh, she'll put it back in, and then it gets like really dry. And my sister kind of likes hers dry because she feels like it's not cooked. But honestly, if you have a meat thermometer and then you actually let your food rest for a few minutes, I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. I'm going to let these rest for a few. I'm going to get a little bit of stuff cleaned up before I come back and let you know. I will have to take the time to factor in all of the points and stuff. And yeah, after this, I'm gonna make my potato pancakes. So these won't really be super hot, but I'm gonna eat a potato pancake and one of these for my lunch. And I'm super, super excited. I have made potato pancakes before, but never chicken fritters. So I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I did put all of the information into the app. I have to tell you, scrolling back and forth between plans in the app is annoying, but I know people like to have the points. So I actually calculated the points for the recipe as it's stated with 1.5 pounds of chicken. It is, I forget how many servings. I think I put 4 servings. I think the recipe actually said it was 4 servings. They would probably be pretty decent sized pieces. And for it, as it's written, it is 9 points on green. But I believe that that is basically also because of the oil. 5 points on blue and 5 on purple. So they're not insanely low in points. But again, that's also because of the flour. The original calls for a 1/3 cup of flour. It calls for a whole cup of cheese, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, a tablespoon of oil. You can modify it your way to make it less points if you want. Okay, for the way that I made them with 5.5 ounces of chicken and 1 ounce of cheese, I got 3 servings out of it, and it's 3 points on green, 2 on purple, and 2 on blue. But I can't stress enough that your ingredients may be different from mine brand-wise, so please make sure that you calculate it on your end. I could have even made a mistake the way I calculated it, so just double check things. Don't take my word as gospel. But 3 points for 1 chicken fritter, and it is quite a decent size. I've never had them before. I'm gonna taste it now. This is like heaven. Seriously, this is delicious. I know the original calls for other stuff, but honestly, I think I would make it like this next time because it's so good this way. Oh my gosh. These are so good. These are going to be something that I'm going to be making a lot because honestly, the ingredients that I used, I typically have them on hand. So these are definitely going to be in my rotation of favorite things. These are delicious. Again, the oil was like 4 points for a tablespoon, which is a lot in my opinion because I could be eating 4 points worth of food. But if you wanted to use Pam or butter spray, you probably could, but I don't know if it would give it such a crispy outside, but you could try it that way. But maybe try it in the air fryer even. I don't know if it would hold together well in the air fryer. I'm not an air fryer expert. I have one, I've used it. I like it mostly for things like heating up 2-ingredient dough biscuits and stuff like that. It gives it a nice crunchiness to it. French fries, those kinds of things. I don't know what they would be like in the air fryer, but definitely try it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and please come back for the next recipe because I'm going to pair this lunch with potato pancakes. Probably won't upload both videos in the same day. I don't know for sure, but my potato pancakes are delicious. So please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you very much for coming back if you're a returner. Thank you for watching if you're new, and thanks.